Hello Halo Clan community, this is Agent Orleans, Director of the Bureau and founder of the Enclave Gaming Clan, introducing to you the very first installment of our new media series, Federal Broadcast. Every 1 to 2 weeks we will aim to bring you a video showing highlights of our engagements, news about our organization and those that we operate with here on the Reach community, and any other relevant news that we happen to hear about and feel like sharing. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the TBHO war that we are currently engaged in. Record of 2-1 in Brotherhood favor. Brotherhood order led by Arius Varian has been running their mouths a lot on Facebook, and we don't appreciate it. This past couple of weeks they've been talking about saying that the first map we put them on, the GNR Plaza, was somehow overpowered, and then put us on an overpowered map called Defense Steel and said that it was fair. Now on paper, which is basically the only place that Arius can actually do anything right, it actually does sound like that. GNR does sound OP the way he describes it, and those that have never been on the map might believe it. And those that have never been on his so-called fair raid base Steel, they might think that thing's fair. So today I'm going to go ahead and disparage any doubt and question as to which map is fair and which map is overpowered. Start off, I'm going to be taking you on Forge on GNR Plaza, the exact same version that was used against TBHO 2 weeks ago. Now as you can see, the spawn area here, the attackers are given 1 DMR. The game type that we use is Enclave CQ standard. That would mean they would have an AR, a Magnum, limited ammo, no grenades, and unlimited sprint. See here they have a large spawn area. 1 DMR already. You come out here, multiple flanking paths, and boom, here's the plaza. Nothing of note here. Lots of cover. There's a Warthog, which was not initially used by the defense for the majority of the engagement. It was just there. The attackers could have easily taken it and used it. They failed to do so. Plasma pistol spawns here, and a frag grenade on a 5-second respawn spawns here, that the attackers, if they had noticed, could have capitalized on. Now, before the engagement, it was agreed that these 2 balconies, as well as the full interior of the facility, would be counted as the base. This was done intentionally so that any attempt to camp the inside of the building would only be a contesting strategy, not a winning strategy, to prevent it from being overpowered in the slightest sense. Now keep in mind, the enemy already has 1 DMR, a lot of cover, and spawn is very, very close to the base, with limited ammo. It only takes a matter of about 16 to 18 seconds to sprint from those spawn points and reach this base. The enemies have magnums, and at this range, team shots would be highly valuable on targets. Does this look OP to you? Does this look remotely overpowered to you yet? Oh, don't worry, it gets better. You come up here to the front door, there's another DMR. That makes 2 DMRs that are easily accessible to hostiles should they reach the front of the base. Here's the main doorway. You come inside. Boom, another flanking position. Enemies can build up in this area specifically for that reason. 2 teleporters leading to each balcony. Balconies can easily be buddy jumped. For whatever reason, TBHO needs a crayon drawing of how to attack a base. They can't use their brains and figure out that 2 people can very easily exploit either of these balconies. So they would try to argue and say that we have a bunch of shotguns and a rocket camping 1 teleporter, when in reality we're trying to push out and hold the plaza. Any interior defense is going to be difficult to mount. Enemies can stack up on any of these 3 teleporters, and using the grenade, the 2 DMRs, the sniper rifle that spawns here, and the plasma pistol, they can easily rush in and trade and kill multiple defenders inside the lobby. So any claim that this area is some OP, cheap defense, no it's not. If 3 guys rush you through this teleporter and pummel you, a shotgun is going to go down. If you divide your forces and split through any of these teleporters, you can easily overwhelm and even slip by defenders. And no matter how organized the defenders are, if all 8 defenders stacked up in here watching these teleporters, it would be a contest-only strategy. It would not be a win. And we're not in it to tie, we're in it to win. So any claim that this base is incredibly cheap is just fabrication, complete lies. Then they complained about the fallback hallway that leads to the armory. There's a Warthog turret. However, remember that the sniper spawns out here. That sniper, along with this piece of cover, 3 DMRs, both frag grenade spawns, a shotgun, and a plasma pistol, along with magnums at spawn, provide an easy way to team shot or quickly eliminate that turret. Grenades, an easy way to clear out defenders in this tight room, and lots of interior cover to try to get in, weasel your way around the enemy, and then the very basic armory. All ammo is limited, so enemies cannot really just sit in a position and camp. The armory is a very difficult position to hold if enemies rush in. There's not a lot of room, especially with explosives. It's very easy for friendly fire. So anyone that tries to complain that this is some really overpowered map, they must be garbage. The absolute lack of brain cells. We've put Fleet Command on this map multiple times. They never complained, and in fact they complimented how fair the map was. We've put multiple other organizations on this for practice engagements and for open raid engagements in 2016. Not a single organization has ever claimed that this map was overpowered until TBHO came along. So tell me, community, I want you to look at this map. Does this remotely look overpowered to you? Doesn't. Does it really? I would show you some of the footage from the engagement itself, and you can see just how hectic it really gets. Incredibly hectic on this map, especially out here in the courtyard. It gets very, very hectic, very difficult to control firing lanes. And I would show you some of that footage. Unfortunately, I do not have it available at this time. I'm currently not at home. This is not my console that I'm on, so unfortunately you're not going to get to see that footage. But anyone who has played this map, I know there are a number of people that have come out on Facebook and have vouched for us on this. I appreciate your support. You know the truth. This map is not overpowered. If you want to message me and look at it yourself, you want to schedule a practice engagement to try it yourself, this is not an OP map. I built it specifically for it to be easily contested by a competent team. So if TBHO has trouble taking this map, and they contested it several times, I don't see why they're complaining about it, calling it overpowered. Oh, P.S. Arius tried to claim that this is a secret entrance. There's a little glitch with the hog here that I missed. But you can glitch into the seat, and according to him, this is a secret entrance. Right. A perfectly visible warthog on what is already a 2-man buddy jump. That's a game-breaking secret entrance, right? Yeah, we put that in there intentionally to sneak into the base. You know, that'll totally take the base right there. Do you see how thin that is? Do you see how thin that argument is? This entire engagement with TBHO was nothing but them pulling paperwork on us, which is ironic considering what they did to us this weekend. There were a few individual mistakes that some people made, and because of that we lost due to ROE. But as far as the actual battle itself was going, we had the base locked down. By the end we had the numerical superiority. TBHO was playing very sloppy, very disorganized. So I don't think anyone with half a brain is going to debate what kind of map this is and how that really should have gone. But TBHO pulled ROE on us. Fair enough. Now it's time you see the map that they spent the whole week talking about was going to be so fair, so much more fair than GNR, that they were going to put us on a real, fair raid base. Let's see what TBHO's description of a fair raid base is, why don't we?
Game
I think
over.
You're going to love it. Right off the bat, you're going to notice you spawn over here on the small island, east side of Paradiso. You get 1 Warthog on a 30-second respawn, 2 Gooses, and 1 chain gun turret. Bear in mind, when we spawned, we were provided with limited ammo, 1 assault rifle, 1 grenade. Now, that might sound kind of fair. And, you know, I know some of you older members, you know, you're used to playing raids like this. I wouldn't have considered this too ridiculously unreasonable. I mean, if we had more time, we could have taken it. And if Arius had been actually adhering to any reasonable thing that could be called an ROE, you know, like, I don't know, staying inside the base instead of coming outside and completely undermining our flanks. Or maybe if there was a bit more cover in the canyon. Oh yeah, this would have been a pretty easy raid. It would have been right in the bag. But putting us on a map like this and then calling it fair, well, let's just see what their idea of fair is. Notice Arius and his personnel say there's a lot of cover on the map. Well, this is what they're talking about. This is their heavy cover. Just a few sparsely placed rocks. That's their heavy cover. And that, you see that rock right there? That's the end of artificial cover right there. You come out to the canyon and you're greeted with this. Absolutely nothing. Now, their argument was, the terrain is cover. Yeah, sure. We utilized the terrain cover to its maximum. Of course, as you're going to see later on in some of the raid clips that I upload, you're going to notice that one, their sniper was up on the roof for the majority of the engagement, giving him a good height advantage over over these hills. He said we have quote-unquote 8 seconds of time exposed to the sniper. Yeah, no, it's definitely more than that. The sniper has a very clear view. Let's just demonstrate. If I'm up here, let me just give you a little quick view of the inside of this base. Notice there's little DMR slots on either side and slots on these sides, so they get a very, very good 180 view of their gate. Then a sniper window, a fixed tank. You come in here, there's the evade and the sword. This is their armory. They had 2 drop shields up, 2 camos up. So you take a sniper, look at that, full sniper, so it's not like he's constantly running downstairs for ammo. He does have a full sniper. Comes up here, and he's running around up here. Boom, look at that. Look at that. Okay, that little Sarge's ridge there, that's some cover. If you somehow manage to get behind sharks, which we did semi-regularly, then you have a bit of cover until you pop out, and then you're an easy kill for the tank or for the sniper. There's a little bit of cover behind that ridge there, and I specify very, very little amount of cover. Nice exposed area here. Again, they can use hamburger, and that's about it. Most of this cover, like that hill right there, is totally negated by the sniper and the tank. The hill and all these flanks back here are totally, pretty much negated by the sniper. Plus, the DMRs right here would be able to swing around and easily provide team shots on anyone that tried to flank. I mean, notice, like, look from right here. A lot of their personnel have a perfect line of sight on the entire flank, and they have entire line of sight on that flank. So, any claim that it's just the easy peasy, the easiest thing in the world to get around this base, it's not. It absolutely was not. And we did it, you know. I'm not really complaining about that. We were able to flank the base, and as you'll see in the clips, what would happen is we would get personnel under this base, or behind the base, or stack up in the high cave, and Arius would take sword and evade and just roll around. And it's easy to say, oh, why didn't you team shoot him? Yeah, you think we didn't try that? Most of the time he would get away. He would roll into high cave, right? Close quarters. You try to fight someone with a sword, close quarters with nothing but an AR. If it's just 1 or 2 people, you're probably not going to stand a chance. Also, he had infinite armor ability, so he's just rolling around, constantly rolling. Like about this speed, just roll. I'm not going to, you know, disrespect his individual ability. He knew how to play. He was rolling around. Especially down here in the hill, his personnel would deploy bubble shields in the hallway, which would glitch through the floor, breaking the line of fire, and he would roll in and out of the shield and slice members. And any members that tried to step out and get away from him and get range to engage him, the sniper would come up here and snipe them. Or the rocket, at one point a rocket and a DMR jumped down and were helping him. So he says things like, oh, you could have capitalized. Not really. No, you can't. These, you know, whenever we made pushes, you'll see in some of the clips, we make mass pushes from here, get some grenades in. As soon as grenades start landing, they start chucking bubble shields. They have a pair of bubble shields, and they'll just hide in the shields. If you try to run up, they have shotguns, and we were able to kill a couple. And near the end, we made, I don't have footage because of Reach's limitation for how long you can have raid footage for in theater. But near the end, we made a massive grenade push from that position and took out 3 defenders. And as we were trying to contest the ramp, they all fell back to that position back there with DMRs, shotguns, and drop shields, lots of drop shields. And as we were trying to, work a solution, Arius comes up behind us with a sword, just drops in on us with a sword. His buddy's up there with a sniping down at us, sniping our reinforcements before they can get to us. So anyone that says this was an easy piece of cake raid, anyone that believes this is as fair as GNR, this can be compared to GNR at all, remotely, you're delusional. You are a delusional cancer cell, and you need help. You need help. You need to be evaluated in a psychiatric institution. Now, before we can move on from this TBHO drama, there's just one more thing I'd like to address. A recent post on Facebook by Arius stating 4 points about the recent attack raid, all of which need to be addressed appropriately and in full. Number 1, quote, "There wasn't adequate cover outside the base." His response, "Cover had been placed along the full route except for in the canyon. It is possible to get from spawn to the base on foot with less than 8 seconds of being exposed to the sniper, 5 seconds of being exposed to anyone else." This is blatantly false. As you saw earlier when I was showcasing the map, there are way longer expanses visible to the position of their sniper than just 8 seconds. The tank and everyone else also had more than 5 seconds of visibility. This is a clear fabrication to try to make you think that base is way weaker than it really was. Asking for more cover is essentially asking to get into the base without being shot at. That's not a raid. Really, we put you on GNR, didn't we? You put us in an empty canyon. You're trying to equate those two things. And then when we ask for some very basic cover, and you're saying that we want you to hand us the base, that's not what we're asking for. We're asking for something reasonable, Arius. But you already know the difference. You're just a Facebook warrior that wants to tell everyone a lie. Tell them that your base is fair and that ours isn't. But don't worry. Let's continue. Point 2, quote, "TBHO had someone outside the base with a power weapon." There is no rule about having power weapons outside the base. This is true. We did negotiate this in the war ROE because, for whatever reason, we thought highly enough of you and your organization to assume that you wouldn't use scrub tactics like leaving the base with power weapons. Clearly, we overestimated what kind of person you are. We gave you too much credit, too much respect that you obviously do not deserve. And that's our mistake. But it doesn't make what you did any less scrubby. You can't say that we had cover when we had very little, and then actively go around circumventing and negating the effectiveness of that cover with power weapons, and then say your base was fair. You can't do that. You really can't. It was an energy sword and a DMR. You can block a sword attack. Yeah, people did block sword attacks. And people tried to team shot you with ARs. But just about every time, you would evade away to where your teammates could team shot and have sniper support regularly. You usually waited to attack personnel in close quarter situations, and due to the lack of a motion sensor in the game type, it was very easy for you to just roll up to people very quickly before they could detect and react to your presence. So this isn't a matter of you blaming a bunch of people that are bad. This is a matter of you rolling around, playing cheap tactics, and then trying to play it off as it being our lack of skill. We only use the energy sword under the base. Now that is a blatant lie. A blatant lie. You know it. You went into High Cave at least half a dozen times. Near the end of the engagement, you pushed all the way as far as Shark's Mouth, regularly, under cover of tank and sniper fire, to suppress and break all of our attack formations. You know this. I would show footage of it, but unfortunately, as I stated earlier, there's a limit to how much footage the Xbox 360 holds before it cuts off. And that ended before that took place. But you and everyone in that engagement knows you did not just go under the base. That is a blatant lie. A rocket was used once, but again, if you had skill, you could have killed the user and got the weapon for yourselves. The rocket stepped out alongside the support of a DMR shoddy right next to you, fighting against 2 people under the base with low shields who had only ARs. The rest of our personnel had been killed off during the recent push or were being suppressed by a sniper and a tank. Again, you can't 3v2 a target and they only have ARs and a very tight space, and you have a rocket, drop shield, sword evade. Come on, really? Point 3. We had no magnums. Magnums are not required in the ROE. This much is true. However, all Enclave facilities provide the enemy with magnums, as well as usually a DMR or some precision weapon somewhere outside of the base. You had grenades and 90% of our defense was packed into a 4x4 area. That should have been extremely easy to grenade rush the base, which makes grenades far more powerful than magnums. I disagree. You have to get close enough to the base for those grenades to be usable. Factor in the fact that your personnel had not one but 2 drop shields up at the same time. Grenades were rendered virtually ineffective unless we were able to get the jump on you, which only happened twice. And even then, you came out with a sword. Your sniper was up on the roof, completely negating any cover, any contest that we possibly could have had. We would have much rather have had magnums, and during scouting, Agent El Paso and myself brought that to your attention. You didn't care. And point 4, the base was op. Your 2 highest ranking COs scouted the base and agreed to raid it. I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there. We told you exactly what we thought about that base. We told you that we knew it was OP. Unfortunately, the whole mechanic of scouting during this war operation is not about what bases we do or do not want to raid. It's about whether or not that base conforms to the agreed war ROE. Whether or not we wanted to raid that piece of garbage you put us on, it technically conforms to that tiny, thin ROE that you proposed. We did not have a choice in the matter. You know we did not have a choice in the matter. Trying to twist it and portray it as us making a bad choice by agreeing to go on a map and then complaining about it afterwards, no. That's another fabrication on your part. It was a box with a sniper on top. We gave you a choice between having the Spartan laser or the tank up, and you chose tank. We weren't complaining about the tank or the laser. That's not the stem of our complaints. The map itself is the stem of our complaints. You being out of base is the stem of our complaints. You trotting around, calling that facility fair, that is the stem of our complaint. And I think you fail to understand that. If you have any more arguments, I'll be happy to explain why you're wrong in the comments. If you really are so deluded, so mentally twisted that you actually think you're right on this, feel free to say it in the comments. I'd love to see you say it again and again and again, even with video footage illustrating just how wrong you are. But hey, be my guest. If you're a cancer cell, if you have, I don't know, some sort of visual impairment, and you think you're seeing things that aren't there, by all means. That's your prerogative, not mine. Moving on from TBHO drama. As of last week, the Gold Pack clan under Marshall Gold Pack has declared war on us, claiming that we're scared and we're small and we think we're big, blah, 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 blah. So, we're going to attempt to schedule a raid with them this Friday. However, chances are, Gold Pack being who they are, they're probably going to try to throw some mentally challenged ROE drawn up by an Australian kindergartner on drugs. We're going to say no because we don't have time to waste on autists. They're going to go around like Commando Arc saying they've beat us in a war. And we're going to be like everyone else in this community that has a brain and just ignore them and pretend that they don't exist. Because frankly, we all know they escaped from an asylum. They shouldn't be online. Their parents are probably worried. Or probably wishing they had drowned them in birth, I don't know. Internal news. As of last night, Second Lieutenant Tasked Watchman has been discharged from the Enclave for acts of subversion and insubordination. Over the past few days, the High Comm has had a lot of friction with Watchman, who has been overbearing with Army personnel, regularly disregarding Army protocol and disregarding authorization orders, engaging in open raids and comp matches that have damaged our record and our reputation, despite being specifically ordered not to do so. With all these things taken into account, Watchman was discharged. As of last night, he has restarted the Iron Brigade, and a couple of members have already rejoined him. For the most part, however, we don't foresee most of the merged personnel leaving to join him. As it so happens, most of them have sided with the Enclave in this matter. We don't have any personal beef with Watchman. The fact is, he's just too petty, too hard-headed, and too ignorant to be given a leadership position. And he's too immature to understand that. And until he understands that, his organization will never be anything but amateur. We hope the best for the people that join him, but yeah, he's gone. So all of you H5 riders that want to go roast him, go do it. We don't care. With the lieutenant gone, as of now, I have been forced to step up as CEO of the Eaton Company on Reach until a suitable replacement can be found for the position, hence my current attire. That's pretty much it. Tonight we will be concluding the first installment of the Federal broadcast with a small compilation of clips from the recent attack raid against TBHO. Thank you for watching. Please enjoy our content, subscribe, comment below if you'd like, and do keep an eye on this channel for future content. Thank you.